around the world. Test my ear for music with a man consumed by antique instruments. And meet a woman who never imagined what wonderful stuff she had hidden out in her garage. I'm Harry Rinker. Come along to see what great finds we discover on Collector Inspection. One of the things I love about my collection is that it includes objects from around the world. Plates from England's Staffordshire district, Hummel figurines from Germany, and cameo glass from France. And like me, there are many individuals out there who love to gather things from around the globe.
Hi, Harry.
Hi, Eva Marie, how are you? Like most homes I visit, Eva Marie Farrar's house is stocked with family heirlooms. But what makes her treasures so special is that they're from all over the world. From tables to timepieces to delicate trinkets, it's an assembly of assets with global appeal. Well, Eva Marie, a lot of things here around the room. Okay, how about this clock?
Oh, this clock. It's very special to me. This has always been in my bedroom since I was a little girl. My mom said that it was my grandmother's and that one of her tenants who was from Germany had given it to her. It plays a sweet little tune, and my sister and I used to dance around the room to it. In fact, it's really the only thing that we argue about in the family. My sister wants it. I tell her there's no way she's getting it. It's mine.
Well, it is German in origin because it's got some German markings on the back and on the face. Looks to me like maybe 1920s, just right after the war. Value maybe $65, $85.
Okay.
But the real value is you have it and not your sister, right?
That's right.
That's right. Absolutely. Well, let's see what else. Oh, okay. Another family piece?
Yes, this was on the shelf in my bedroom growing up next to the clock. This was from my other grandmother. My mom said it was hers. That's all I know about it.
Now let's see if this thing is marked. And it's one of the big problems with glass is it's hard to find it. Oh, there it is. Wait a minute. There we got it. If you break the light just right, there it is. Made in Czechoslovakia.
Wow.
Well, yeah, but that's good because now we got all kinds of clues about dating it and everything else because Czechoslovakia didn't exist till the end of the First World War.
Okay.
So we know it can't be before 1920.
Okay.
And looking at the shape and form, I'd already kind of come to the conclusion it was made somewhere between 1920 and 1941. Mm-hmm. And now knowing it's Czech glass, and also notice the dark black against the pink Art Deco, contrasting colors. So 1920s.
Oh, wonderful.
Nice little piece. Now, unfortunately, it does have a little bit of chip out there. Chips happened a while ago. It's not very sharp. In this condition, maybe $35, $45. If the chip had not been there, I would have been $65, $85.
Okay.
But still in all fun, and it's family.
Exactly. I've looked at the bottom 1,000 times. I never noticed that mark.
Well, that's a fun little piece. It looks like you've got some interesting furniture pieces here, too. Did these come down through the family?
They did. They belonged to my husband's grandmother. The only thing I know about them is that she had them in her living room in the 1950s. Prior to that, I have no idea.
Yeah, and she may have gotten them in the late 30s, maybe even the 1920s. These are what we call Colonial Revival table. The two of them kind of don't quite mate out. This one's got more of a flared foot on it. This one has a round piece. But this is a very 20s, 30s form, especially with the treatment. But it's in nice condition. And I'll tell you what, this furniture is hot among young people like yourself. They love this furniture. It's inexpensive out there compared to the new stuff. You can still buy it cheaper than new when you find it. But even a little table like that today is $250, $275, as high as $300. With so many captivating belongings from around the globe, I couldn't keep my hands off of anything, no matter where it was. There we go. All right, let's see what else we have. Oh, okay, now this is something I'm not used to seeing. What have we got here?
More family pieces. This actually was a gift from my aunt. They had been given to her from relatives who live in Cyprus.
Okay, and what are they used for?
Well, the little plates are for glika, which are sweets. Basically, they're pickled citrus rinds. They're sweetened, actually. And you would serve them with a little fork or a little spoon. And I basically just use, I use it for pats of butter or as a salt dish. And the spoons and forks I used to serve olives and cheeses and things.
It's okay, but that's fine. Adaptive reuse is good.
Absolutely.
Now, notice it's marked 800. Now, in America, the sterling standard is 925 parts silver per thousand.
Right.
But the Europeans don't always use 925. Many of them use 800. So the 800 is telling me there's 800 parts silver per thousand. So there's silver content in here as well as this. But I like unusual silver things. I just think they're fun. Now, how much of this do you have? You got...
I have 8 plates and 8 each of the spoons and the forks.
Well, I think you can figure as high as $25 to $35 per unit. So times 8, you're looking at least $200, $250. So that's not bad. That's fun.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
While there were plenty of alluring objects in the dining room that caught my eye, Eva Marie really wanted to know about a special set of salt cellars.
Now, what's the story behind these?
These were a gift from my husband's grandmother when we got engaged. She knew that I liked old things and she passed it down. There's a little note inside of there. They were a gift to her from some colleagues in London.
Okay, well, I just noticed when I picked them up, they had the British hallmarks on them, and they're there, the lion for sterling silver, the lion for London, a date code, and monarch code and a date code, and also a maker's mark. And let's see what she says here. Made about 1886, and that would be about right for those type of things. And they're wonderful little salts. Value for something like these? Oh, conservatively, 85 to 100 a piece, maybe 200, 250 the set.
Wow.
Well, they're silver, they're Victorian era silver, and they're really in nice shape. Well, it's been fun looking at your family things.
My visit to Eva Marie's offered plenty of surprises for her and me both. And by exploring the worldwide heritage of her favorite belongings, she can enjoy the wonders of faraway lands without ever leaving home. Up next, find out if those old musical instruments are worth preserving.
But let's hear it. Let's see how it sounds.
On Collector Inspector.
Meet the people who have taken...
George Hillenbrand is not a talented musician. But that doesn't matter to him. He's still passionate about a number of old musical instruments that have come down through his family and wants to know more about them. I'll determine if there's any money in this menagerie of musical mementos.
Sheet music. Now, I love sheet music. Do you have a lot of sheet music?
Yes, actually, we have a music cabinet that was full, and we kept it all. It's all from in the early 1900s. My great aunt was into Broadway, and my grandfather enjoyed the music also, and he played the piano. And these are some of the actual, I mean, they're original from when he purchased them.
Right, absolutely. And you know what's nice about it is your aunt didn't write her name across the top. And this is a great example. Is first of all, it needs to be in great shape. So much sheet music I see, it's torn, it's been used, it's damaged. But look at this. The edges are sharp and crisp and so forth. Now, sheet music value, interestingly enough, comes from a lot of different areas. Some value might come from the person who wrote the song. Some value might come from the person who sang the song or whose image is on the cover. And boy, I'll tell you, you can build great themes in sheet music. World War II.
Yeah.
Yep, super great patriotic stuff. Now, sheet music dealer would probably give you as much as 75 to $1 a sheet. They buy it usually 20, 30 cents on the dollar because of the huge inventories they run. But this is some of the best condition stuff I've seen in a while. Now, what about the guitar over here?
Well, the guitar belonged to my dad. He played it when he was younger, and just because of that is And because of the theme, we like the music idea, so we brought it out.
Yeah, it doesn't look like a real high-end guitar to me. No brand name in there on that, no brand name on the back, but still probably playable if it was rung up. And you know, in a way, you're really, by not having the strings taut, you're really helping the musical instrument, because you should never store a string instrument with the strings taut, because it just pulls on the bridges and on the back piece here, and it creates all kinds of problems. And boy, you can certainly tell he played it. Look at this. Look at all the wear on the handle. So he really did play this guitar.
Yes, he played it a lot. Mm-hmm.
You know what? Memories are great, but they don't always translate in value. But in this condition, maybe you're looking at 50 to 75 bucks tops. Now, somebody might get it and fully restore it, and then maybe get above 100 bucks for it. Not tremendous value, 75 to 100 bucks. But, you know, family value, right?
That's why it's here. This is an air organ. I believe it was my great-grandparents that purchased this.
And I got to tell you what, it's certainly seen a lot of use, hasn't it?
Yes, that it has.
And you know what? It doesn't pay to restore it. Today, almost all these organs are used just for the way you're using it, just for decorative purposes. But still in all, just a fun little piece, and fun because it's family. Ah, George, a piano.
Yeah, this is a Steinway that my grandfather purchased and has been passed down to me.
Well, listen, the name is the game in my business, and Steinway is one of the best names in pianos.
Yeah, we were interested in finding out whether we should have it refinished, leave it the way it is.
Well, first of all, if you had to go out and buy this piano used, reconditioned and ready to go, you might be looking at anywhere from $5,000 to $8,000, maybe as high as $6,000 to $9,000. Not that anybody collects pianos, but what they do is they buy them as used musical instruments, because a new one is a lot more expensive. Now, looking at the finish of your piano, it certainly is alligated. I mean, you can see it's rippled, so I think you're talking at minimum case refinishing. Now, if you have to have it retuned, that may not be too bad. If it has to be rebuilt, you may be looking at some money, but probably for an investment of $3,000 to $4,000, you can get it back up and going. You haven't had it tuned for a while.
No, it has not been used for a while, and we want to have it rebuilt as much as we could if it would be worth it.
But let's hear it. Let's see how it sounds. Oh!
While George's instruments may not be in concert condition, they're still rich with the legacy of the family who owned them, and that, at least, deserves an encore. Coming up, this woman has no idea what fun surprises are waiting to be discovered in her garage.
Value. Oh, I think conservative with this point, 100 and a quarter, 100 and a half.
Oh, that's...
Well, yeah, not bad, huh?
On Collector Inspector.
Well, my...
Ever since she got married, Carmela Goldhaber's home has been filling up. Not only with her family treasures, but her husband's as well. But do twice as many memories equal double the value? I'll have to poke around a little for the answer.
Well, Carmela, I see a lot of family pictures and stuff, and a number of things here. I'll bet you've got a lot of family stuff around here, don't you?
Most of it is.
Yep, and tell me how you wound up with these.
Those were given to my parents as a wedding present when they got married in 1954, and my mom just recently sent those out to me because I always liked them when they were in her house.
Let's see if they're porcelain. You know how to tell the difference between porcelain and just glazed over earthen? Well, the first thing you can do is pound it.
Okay.
And if it's a bell-like ring, then it's porcelain.
Okay.
But people get upset when I bang their stuff.
That's okay, you can do that.
No. Well, I can do that, but all right, let's do that. Ooh, not a good sound.
Oh, not a good sound.
But there's another test, and that's a test if you put a light behind it. If the light comes through, it's porcelain, and if it doesn't, what you have is glazed over earthenware.
Okay.
So now, down here, I see we got a little few cups, and I'll bet these are porcelain, because watch. When I pick that one up, see how the light comes through?
Yeah.
All right, okay, so those are porcelain.
Okay.
But so now we know something about this. It's glazed over earthenware, and obviously porcelain is used in better ceramics, and glazed over earthenware is used in lesser quality ceramics. The gold is mellowed down. Just the overall appearance suggests late 40s, 50s, and they're fun. They mean a lot to you, right?
Yes, they do.
And value-wise, maybe 85 to 100, maybe as high as 100 and a quarter, but not much more than that. Tell me about this. This is a fascinating piece. What's your history on this?
This is my favorite piece, and again, we got this from the storage, and it was my husband's grandmother's, and it's missing a knob right there, and I do have it. And it's a little bit in a distressed condition. I haven't wanted to do anything with it just because I'm scared to, and it's all hand-painted, and it has a mother-of-pearl inlay in the front, and then it has the matching mirror. And that's really all I know about it.
Well, you know what? I have to tell you, it looks to me like it's late 19th century, maybe 1880 to 1900. There was kind of a revival called Cottage Victorian where they used a lot of colors and painted furniture like this. But the problem is to get rid of all these rings and all these marks, you're going to virtually have to have it stripped down and repainted.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to do that.
I don't want you to do it. No, I don't want you to do it. Here's the name of the game. If you were this old and you look this good, nobody should mess with you.
Okay.
No, why mess with it? Why make it look like it was made yesterday when the truth of the matter, it was made 120 to 125 years ago or longer? You have a mirror that mates into it. I mean, these two pieces together are easily $750 to $1,000, maybe even more to a decorator, maybe as high as $1,500. Carmela, these things, however, usually come in suite with other pieces. Do you have other pieces to this?
I have a desk that's in the garage. Want me to show you?
I'd love to see it.
Okay, great.
While I was eager to see Carmela's desk, I could hardly wait to see what other surprises might be concealed behind the garage door. Well, Carmela, garages, the storage sheds of the 21st century. Right. Who keeps their car in a garage anymore?
I don't think many people do.
Well, they fill it up with all this stuff. That's what makes it such a great treasure trove. And here's the table we were talking about.
This is it, and it's so badly damaged.
Yes, it's not hard to see why it's in the garage, is it?
And the leg, it appears that there might be some termite infestation in there.
Well, I'll tell you what, this table has to be fumigated. It has to go into a special chamber that's made for it. Restored, it's probably going to be worth $850 to $1,000, maybe as high as $1,200. So here's the call. Either you spend a lot of money now, and a lot of money could be several $1,000s to get it restored.
Wow.
Yeah, see, that's the problem. Or you just accept the fact you're never going to restore it and you've lost it.
That's my mom's radio.
Yeah.
Another piece that I went to her house and took.
Do you ever try to plug it in?
Actually, it was working until she shipped it to me. And because she was still listening to it, and I said to her, I really like it, and I really want it. And so she mailed it to me, and it's now not working.
Well, you know what? There's a lot of people still repairing these. A lot of amateur guys out there. What I would do is, try to find a local collector that's into this stuff, or there's still some old-time radio guys in your area that could repair it. Up and working, I think you're $65, $85. Maybe even pushing 100 or a little bit more. Well, you know what? This box looks like it's got an old label on it. I got to tell you, I like to see what's in old boxes here. Let's see what we got. Oh, looks like it might be an advertising doll, right?
Yeah, this is another item that we got from our great-great-uncle on one of his visits coming over for dinner.
Coming over for dinner? I think I'm going to invite your great-uncle over dinner at my place if he brings presents like this one. This is Old Smuggler Scotch, and look at the condition of this guy. I don't think he's ever been out of his box. And so, the first tendency to think is, oh, he's much newer than he really is. But when you look at the box and the label and the mailing address, he's got to be from the late 50s, 60s, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
But he is top of the line. Now, this fellow here, value, I think conservative at this point, 100 and a quarter, 100 and a half.
Oh, that's
well, yeah, not bad, huh? That's why I want to have your uncle over to dinner a few times.
After snooping around for a while, I told Carmela to take some of her treasures back into the house, because with so many wonderful heirlooms being handed down from her family, it won't be long before she runs out of room in that garage. When we return, I'll inspect my collection to explain how you can decipher an object's age by simply examining its shape on Collector Inspector. I was a kid, and over the years, I've discovered that you can tell a lot about an object by inspecting its shape.
When I visited with Eva Marie Ferrar, you may remember that great vase she had from the 1920s. How did I know it was from the 1920s? By its shape. Shape is one of the best ways to date an object. Develop a shape vocabulary in your mind. I've got 3 teapots here to help illustrate this point. Here we have a great little octagonal body teapot from about the 1850 to 1870 period. Well, as we moved into the 20th century and Art Deco became popular, we got teapots shaped like this. This is a Hall Aladdin lamp teapot. Comes in a lot of different colors, but the shape is so distinctly 1920s that we don't have any trouble identifying the time period it comes from. Once we get to the post-World War II period and we get into streamlined modern, you get, of course, teapots and tea kettles like this. Michael Graves for Elise, designer, high-end material. But look at it, streamlined modern design form, everything you'd expect in the style period. I know a lot of you visit museums, so I've got a challenge for you. What I want you to do is the next time you go to a museum and find a collection of glass or ceramics, don't look at the color or the pattern, look merely at the shape, and then check the label to see what date that shape corresponds to. Get a shape vocabulary in your mind. When you do, you'll be able to date an object just like I do, by its shape. Well, that's our show for today, and thanks for watching. Join me next time on Collector Inspector.
One homeowner has one big landscape problem. 3 designers have 3 very different solutions. Find out who will survive Landscapers Challenge, coming up next on HGTV.